we got backstage, and I was like, is she coming? Because no one would say if she was coming or not. They didn't, and everyone had their name tag on the wall in our lineup like we were going on a field trip. And Beyonce's name wasn't there, and I was like, oh, Beyonce won't come. And then suddenly, security comes in. And I said, there's no other person that's going to have this much security other than a queen.
Welcome to Click and Tell. Today is special because it's
Christmas!
Merry Christmas, everybody!
Oh, you were going to say Merry Christmas?
Yeah.
And I was, because it's Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Yeah. You know, it's all about the family coming together, right? And friends coming together. Yeah. So if you're celebrating Christmas or the holidays or just family time, this is great.
Yes, and we want to do something a little special, so we're giving you a bit of a Click and Tell bonus gift. We're going to edit the sneeze out, or we're going to keep it. 3, 2, 1, sneeze. That wasn't the gift. The bonus gift for you guys.
It's stuck. You know what gets really stuck in your nose? It's not coming now because I talked about it. Now it's not coming.
If anybody has a solution,
it's completely stuck.
Let me know. Our bonus gift for you guys is a doubleheader episode.
This is the best.
2 sets of interviews for 1 episode for your holiday Click and Tell special. I'm not great with names, but that's what's happening today. And because it is the holidays and you were just talking about family, it's a little bit, it's kind of timely because these 2 interviews brought me back to my childhood.
That's right. Mufasa is an incredible film with such an amazing storyline that brings back the I don't even know when the original came out, Lion King,
like
but every time
1994.
Oh my gosh. And when they sing Circle of Life, I start crying every single time, right? Yeah. This is such a great film for the family and your friends. And on Christmas Day, believe it or not, I don't know if it's a tradition for you guys, but our family would go out and go to the cinema to watch a film on Christmas Day.
Yeah, Lion King every time.
Every time. Now Mufasa though. Yeah, but so, we have a chance to talk to some of the great creators.
Yes, 2 stars of the film. Eric Pierre, who plays Mufasa himself, and Kelvin Harrison Jr., who plays Taka. I don't want to spoil anything, but you might know who Taka becomes. So what's really cool about these 2 guys is that they're 2 incredibly talented actors who are like they haven't even reached the peak of their powers yet. They're on the rise.
Like this,
they're both doing incredibly big things. This is not the first project they've worked on together, but it is certainly, I think, the one that's going to be that people are going to have the most. Maybe they'll pay attention to the most. Is what I'm trying to say.
And to be a voice actor is very different because you don't really get to animate your body, and it's standing in front of hey buddy, on a microphone, and you're really elevating what it means to be an actor within. I think that's the best way to explain it, right?
Yeah.
And really bringing it out, and they go on this journey of 2 incredible characters that, again, from 1994, and they're bringing that to life. So very excited to be talking to them about it. And
so that's part 1.
There is something about nicknames that you mentioned.
Yes, we'll get into that during the interview. And then part 2 today for our special doubleheader is a Canadian boy done good, one of our best dudes, maybe the best dude on the planet ever, Eric Bauza.
Yeah.
Eric Bauza is a prolific voice actor who does basically everything, especially with Warner Brothers, the voice of Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Marvin the Martian. That was pretty good. Everyone. Not only is he super talented, like Sangeeta said, a nice guy, a good friend of ours too, and he was funny, did all the voices, told us some great stories, and even drew us like some pictures to take home. Really talented guy.
Yeah, and his journey really shows that you gotta stick to what you believe in yourself, right? He started at a young age, he knew what he wanted to do.
He knew what he wanted,
He knew, but he didn't know how to get there in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So you hear his story, but
you're gonna love it.
He made it happen, and it's all about manifestation. So check it out, you are going to be inspired.
Yeah, so up first, of course, our interview with the stars of Mufasa, Eric Pierre and Kelvin Harrison Jr.
Congratulations to both of you on this film. It is going to be a classic.
I believe so.
It is.
Absolutely.
And I was looking up the original Lion King, which was 1994. And I was like, oh, it was part of your childhood. But you guys were both born in 1994 in the summer. And so that, like when you think of, like, it was our childhood.
It was our childhood.
When you look at this and when you watch the film for the first time, what kind of impact did it have on you?
Wow.
Because I remember Circle of Life and hearing that song for the first time, and I just...
And you guys must have been so little the first time you saw it.
Yeah. Like, do you remember that time when you watched it?
Yeah, I mean, so, of course, I didn't watch it in 94.
No.
I watched it probably...
You didn't?
No, did it suck up a monitor inside your mother's womb so you can check it out?
It was in
They didn't have the technology yet.
I watched it probably in 97 or 98.
Yeah.
I was 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And for me, it was just a really beautiful experience. You know, it's a film that really celebrates, you know, the continent of Africa, and it celebrates the colors, the energy, the vibrancy, the sound, the music of the continent in a really beautiful way, and that was very present in my own home. So it was one of the first animation films that made me feel included and made me feel involved. And for that, I think it's always been a very sort of special film to me, and one that I have sort of a sentimental attachment to.
Yeah, nice.
And now you're part of it.
It's then a full circle of life.
For a second. Right.
Yeah.
Hey, how about yourself?
I just was obsessed with Mufasa's mane. And I was like, wow, what a great head of hair. But I think I always talk about remembering the video game. I got the video game for Christmas. And obviously I got the video game because my parents knew I was obsessed with the film. Right. And I had a Sega Genesis, and that was the only cartridge.
Sega Genesis, you're bringing it back. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know what it is. And I put that cartridge in, and I would play that game for hours only to get to level 2. Because I could not get past.
Did you ever beat the game? Because it's one of the hardest games of all time.
It's impossible.
It's impossible.
It's impossible. So for Christmas this year, I've asked for the Nintendo Switch version, and I will dominate.
I like that. I like it.
I do love also the idea that it's almost like fate. You guys were born around the same time. The movie came out at the same time, and now you're here sitting together. You worked together before in the past. You must do. What is this bond like between you guys?
I mean, you guys are like the Oprah and Gail. When I think about it, like that bond, you know.
I don't want to say who's who.
Well, yeah, but you guys do have this special ability to come together and create magic.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, that's very kind.
That's a rich compliment. Oprah and Gail.
Which was Gail?
Run me the check. What would I say? What would you say? Should we say at the same time? I'm just kidding. I'm stop.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. I just think working with your brother is the best experience ever because you get to just laugh and play, and like I think there's this understanding of the sincerity and the passion we have around the work that's just so comfortable. And sometimes I've worked with a lot of actors that are much older than me, and they're so much more established, and I get so intimidated and scared. I'm equally as intimidated sometimes of Aaron because he's so fantastic. But I feel a comfort and a just protection from him that is really, really nice, and it allows me to open up even further and do better work as an actor. And that's not something we get very often.
What have you learned from him?
Oh my gosh, work ethic, focus. The ability for him to not get embarrassed when he's at work and just completely just lock in. Like, I remember the first day we were shooting and we were all on Zoom. It was 2021. It was still COVID. And Aaron was already in the Mufasa voice. And I was embarrassed to even try the Taka voice because I was so scared everyone was going to laugh at me. And I was seeing him kind of go, this is a legacy that we're doing. And there's an importance around this. And I was like, this is what it means to be an actor. It's like unabashedly just bare your soul in front of everybody, and that's what audiences want to latch on to, and that's why he's a special performer.
I think it's so interesting because there could be that real pressure of, you know, this is such a big deal, and a lot of people have their memories and emotions attached to it when they grew up with the original, and they loved the one in 2019 as well. You talked about being almost embarrassed to do that voice. What kind of work, what kind of introspection goes into really nailing the core of what that voice is going to be?
Wow, I think it's Kelvin says this really eloquently, and I'm just paraphrasing here, but he likens the animation experience to that of doing a play on stage, because when you do a play, you get to spend an extended period of time with the character, and you get to repeatedly revisit again and again these scenes. And we had that experience arguably amplified because we were doing this for 3 years. So we were revisiting these characters and these scenes again and again and again over 3 years. And you do get very familiar with them. I think that's a really beautiful thing.
Do you still do the voice? Do you bring it out once in a while? Like, do you get to the Mufasa? Like,
do you know what's so?
I'm asking to hear it right now.
You know what's funny? With majority of the characters that I portray, like as soon as, because when we're filming, I more or less do not leave that character. As soon as we finish, I kind of set it free and almost forget how to do it again. So I haven't engaged with the Mufasa voice since. You're hilarious.
You're gonna come back.
You're hilarious. But yeah, but do you have the scar in your background?
He said, "Get the pressure off me." Do you have the scar in me? No, dude.
Who's the shy one now? Yeah, like, who's the shy one now?
I'd still try to play around with it, seeing if I could do it better. And because I'm constantly just, I have that like actor thing of like once you leave and it's said and done, you're still thinking like, should I have done this? Should I have done that? And it never still sounds the same because I had a credible dialect coach with me the whole time too to help me out. And we finished shooting this like 4 months ago.
I know we're being interviewed here, but I have a question for you actually.
Yeah.
When a lot of the characters, I should sit over here. A lot of the characters, like you change the color of your hair. How long before you change it back to your natural hair color?
Oh my God.
I'm actually curious about that.
How
Because that's part of setting free the character, right?
Well, I think it was also because I had blue hair once in the movie. I had the locks once. I had the braids, and then I had the Martin Luther King look. But I think it's literally I shave my head as soon as the movie's done or a project's done.
Oh, okay.
So I can kind of just reset and then I'm bald.
Yeah.
And so that was that.
But do you miss it? When you let something go that you've been working on for like 3 years, do you have this feeling of going back to it?
I definitely miss every character that, I have the opportunity to engage with because I've spent so much time with that character. I can be quite obsessive with the nuances of characters as well. So, Kel knows, I'll be anytime I'm on set, I'm in the dialect of the character. I will have the mannerisms of the character, like my gait when I'm walking will be of the character. Only outside of that context will I speak in my own accent and try and revert back to myself. Even on lunch breaks, when we did MLKX, I was speaking to him in dialect.
I knocked on the trailer door and it was Malcolm X. That was really overwhelming sometimes. I was like, I just want to have some sand.
But I think for that reason, when I finish a project, I do, I do miss, I let it be by miss character.
I drop out in the middle of
I was really energized. Sorry. Go.
But you kind of have to revisit again because this picture here we have is the world premiere of the whole cast, right? There's
Beyonce.
You're
Yeah, she was there.
Beyonce and Blue Ivy.
Our co-stars.
But this brings it back, right? This is ultimately what it's all about and celebrating. So what was this day like for you? What was that moment of getting on stage and feeling that vibe? Because there's also a picture of you guys lined up in the back and ready to get on stage.
We played
like on a field trip.
We played too much.
What is this? What is this?
Yeah.
Like for us to understand what that feeling
evening
is.
was just enormous. Like we walked out on stage to just a room full of old fans of the film, like us, and new fans of the film. And it was just a room full of love and joy and this bubbling excitement about what this story was going to contribute to the legacy of. I don't think I've ever felt a feeling exactly like that before. It was like, it could have made you cry. Like it was so beautiful.
You felt the love.
Yeah, massively. It was very similar to when we walked out at D23. It was like, whoa. Yeah.
And Beyonce?
We got backstage and I was like, is she coming? Because no one would say if she was coming or not. They didn't, and everyone had their name tag on the wall in our lineup like we were going on a field trip. And Beyonce's name wasn't there and I was like, oh, Beyonce won't come. And then suddenly security comes in. And I said, there's no other person that's going to have this much security other than a queen. And then I hear a dress jingling. And I say, oh my God, there she is. I turn, and in the video, I'm turning back because I was trying to look back and Aaron was so cool. He's just looking forward because, he's always looking to the next thing. You know what I mean? Mufasa, a leader.
I'm just trying to be composed.
He's sniffing the air. He's like, what's happening?
What's happening? He's like, I already smelled her. It's heat. Beyonce 2009 perfume. And then 2009. I'm not part of the Beehive. What are you talking about?
But it was a moment for you.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
It's amazing.
do you play in your mind like what I'm gonna say to her if I talk to her? I'll
It was actually replaying it in my head. I was like, all right, what do you say? Hi, good to see you. Do you say you're a big fan? Do you not? Do you smile and say, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, what's the plan? And then we were on stage and I never got to say,
Oh, you missed it.
so it's okay. Next time.
Just like a queen.
In the film, there was this pivotal moment too when you guys were all together and this Sarabi in the back.
Right.
Right?
So
Yeah, and then you have Rafiki. And I told Carlos, I'm like, this is the moment when a woman gets in a way. There's a love triangle, and she's the principal problem of the whole situation of getting
we're
the
both
down
watching the
together.
movie, and I'm like, here it comes. Here it comes. No. I'm like, Taka, come on, man.
Stay focused.
Stay focused.
But a fun question because Taka asked Mufasa, like, what do I say to her? Well, how do I woo her, right? Like, from you two, who would be the person that would woo the best?
I don't know about that, bro.
Probably you.
You're very lyrical.
Oh, I'm not. You're very lyrical. I'm just gonna sit there and crack jokes, and they're either gonna be like friend zone, or they're gonna be like, I like him. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's smooth. He's the one listening to Luther Vandross.
Yeah, there you
I'll
go.
be listening to Luther, but I don't know if that translates.
So you should have had your Cyrano moment then when you would have like Beyonce
Right.
said, what do I say to you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He would have said, "Stay focused."
And one of the great storylines also is the mother, right? As she takes in Mufasa and she trains him to think and be strong and be wise, and this ability that, Taka didn't really have with his mom because he had to be the king. It really got me thinking about as a mother and the ability to give your kids what they need to move on. What has your love for your mom been about? And does she give you that wisdom that where you are now?
Massively. I certainly wouldn't be, a quarter of the man I am today without my mother, without my grandmothers, without my sister. The women in my life who are closest to me. They've taught me lessons that have not only served me for all of the life that I've lived up until this point, but will continue to serve me. So I'm deeply grateful to them for being who they are and sharing who they are with me.
Mm-hmm. Likewise, my mom taught me that our biggest blessing in this life is to be a blessing to other people, and she's always making sure that she's finding ways to be of service. And I think that's so beautiful. Like any room she walks into, she's a light and she's a joy and she's laughing, and that's where I get my loud laugh from. Everybody's like, I hear you down the hall, you're having a good time, aren't you? And that's because that's all we did. And so I love her, and she's the reason why I get to be here, and she's the reason why I got all my gifts for Christmas.
I was gonna say, have you guys figured that out? Where you getting your mom for Christmas and holidays?
Oh my God, I haven't decided yet.
My mom gets whatever she wants.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like there's no price tag you can put on something you get. She I carried you for 9 months, so
That's right.
The beautiful Oprah. He got money. He must be the Oprah. He got money. He said no price tag. I'm on a little bit of a budget. So
I do the best with what I got. That's
Yeah, there's no price tag you find that.
Yeah. And one of the things also is water is a fear, right? For Mufasa because he's been traumatized. So it got me thinking, what is your biggest fear?
I'm scared of cats.
Wait,
The cats.
you're like,
why?
you guys are playing the king of all
I'm
cats?
saying I'm scared of them. I don't care how small it is. I am terrified of cats.
Wow.
It is, but I'm terrified.
There you go.
I want a pet lizard.
Okay.
That'll be cool.
So you're a dog lover then.
I love dogs.
Dogs, right.
I'll even have a snake. Cats, I don't know.
So wait, when you guys are doing more press and like if you have to go and take pictures like at the zoo with the lions around, everything's clenched, just like
I literally freeze up. I don't know what it is. I need to figure that out.
Huh. I figured
You looking at me
okay.
like that's weird.
No, it's okay, man. Yeah, I get it.
you get to play a lion, be scared of a kid. It's great. How about yourself?
Fears? I think my fear is, which leans heavily into sort of how hard I've been on myself for so many years. I think it's just my fear is not seizing the moment. And that can be a lot, if you obsess over it. And I'm working on it, but yeah.
You know, I'm going through your social media. You both are just ambitious. You guys have a gift of understanding what you want in life. And that's, I give credit to your mother for that and your family. And you know what you want to do, and you pick roles that are important to you. And you're very good at that. Why? Do you say no to things that are just not your way, or is it like...
What's the risk involved in sometimes wanting something that might not be the right time?
I think Aaron says this so well. He says, what's for me won't miss me. And I definitely have always been a big believer in that. Even early on, I was like, I always told the director, I was like, I don't know if I'm right for this role. I know you may want to meet me for this role, but I don't know if I'm right for that. I don't have anything to say yet. And so until I have something to offer you, then maybe I can give you a whole list of other actors that would be brilliant, that maybe have more to say. And I think it's understanding this right place, right time, and the synergy is important. And just, I don't know. My dad used to tell me this because I started off in music, and my dad's a music teacher, a classical musician, and I play keys and trumpet. And when we would do jazz band and we would solo, he would say, if you don't got nothing to say, then don't solo. And I was like, say less. So that's usually my first into a role, and then ultimately, what am I gonna learn? So
Yeah. I think for me, I'm very much guided by my truth. I'm very much guided by telling stories that I feel, subjectively, will allow my community to feel seen, heard, and respected and understood. That's how I'm guided, really. Yeah.
Okay, you guys gotta settle this one thing for us before we have to wrap it up, because we had talked about this. When it comes to nicknames and giving yourself a nickname, is it cool to give yourself a nickname, or do you have to earn something from your
Because Taka goes, I'm
group?
Scar. Like, you can't do that. Someone has to give you the nickname.
Call
You
me
can't,
Scar
like-
now. And Mufasa's like, wait a minute. I'm not sure if I was gonna.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
I don't know if I like it yet. Yeah. I come from the school of like not giving. I come from the school of not giving yourself a nickname.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you have to be given a nickname.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's your nickname?
And whatever the nickname is, like my grandfather taught me this. And my grandfather, he was born in Kingston, Jamaica, and he taught me that back when he was growing up, if you were given a nickname, no matter what the nickname was, if you had like a big response to it, like "Don't call me that" or something, then it will stick with you forever. So he's like, whatever the nickname is, you just have to embrace it, and then it will either stay or it won't. But yeah, I think I come from the school of being given nicknames. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not judging Scar for how he did it. It's none of my business. You know, we listen, we don't judge. So
Safe space.
safe. Right. But I definitely went like, huh.
Yeah.
But listen, I don't know. My nickname was given to me upon birth.
But I love it though. He did say,
you can call me Scar. Right. He
like he'd been thinking of that one.
Yeah. He lived with it for a minute. He was like,
Yeah.
He looked in the
was
river.
trying
He
it
said, "I
out.
see my reflection. Who is that girl I see?"
Congratulations on getting the wrap. You guys are amazing, and
Yeah,
we
thanks so
absolutely
much,
love this film. And you got to sing, which is so wonderful. And you were in high note, weren't you?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, but congratulations to both.
But
Thank you.
Also, I'm looking forward to the trilogy of the next movie with you guys.
Yeah.
Because like this is magic for real.
Our Gail and the
Guys,
thanks, guys. That was awesome.
Well.
yeah.
The circle.
It really is the circle of life. What a couple of great guys.
I know.
You know, what's really funny is like, you had mentioned it off the top in the beginning, and you know, Aaron Pierre had said this was his first role really where he didn't get to be on screen and use his body, and it was such an interesting experience for him. But what's cool about those two is like, it really mirrors the film, like almost their journey together. They've worked together before. They're both being having all this great attention paid to them at the same time. Plus they got to do the journey of this film together, which is really kind of about chosen family as well. Circle of life, baby.
Yeah,
it all comes
not only
together.
that, but there's a song where they sing about being brothers,
Yeah.
right? And really you know what? Also, like, you will notice when you watch the film how Taka becomes
Yeah.
Scar, and
Yeah.
the voice
changes.
changes.
He
and
really, he
brings,
digs into that, like
right?
Jeremy Irons, like
The
yeah.
darkness comes within that voice, and there's that, that pivotal moment when he becomes Scar, right? And then
Yeah.
you're just like, this is it. So I like the storyline. I kind of feel for Scar. I know, I'm sorry. I know.
There you go.
But I felt it.
That's a Barry Jenkins power.
Yeah.
Getting you to sympathize with all the characters and like really feel for them in their story. Man, good times. Okay, so now we're on to the part 2. Like we said in the beginning, Eric Bauza, super talented, super funny, really great guy. It's really a story of like, you want great things to happen to good people. And it's happening with him.
It's happening with him. And talk about being talented.
Yeah. There are a few moments quite as cool as witnessing voice actor Eric Bauza's vocal transformation into Bugs Bunny. Immediately, people are smiling. There's like these laughter of disbelief. And then you see like actual grown adults immediately turn into children again.
We're still children. Look at us.
Well, yes.
Yeah, right. We usually measure influence in metrics like how many followers for content creators or record sales and streams for musicians. But Eric has a very special kind of impact. As a voice of iconic cartoon characters like Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Fozzie Bear, and hundreds of others, he's a part of millions of people's childhoods. Not to mention, he's part of a legacy in entertainment that stretches back nearly 100 years. And if you ask him about it, he'll probably say he can barely believe it himself.
Eric Bauza, everybody. Hey.
Think fast, Rabbit. My stars. What a wonderful hairdo you have, both of you. Yeah.
That's it. I was actually just thinking about that on the way in, how lucky I am to be associated with such iconic characters that did raise me, you guys.
Yeah.
If you're looking at cartoons like Tom and Jerry, even, like that transcend the English language barrier across the world, there's really a lot of impact and joy that these characters brought to many. And I always feel like, Mel Blanc for me will always be the original, the OG, the original gangster of these vocal characters. I'm just the mall Santa that gets to pretend to be Bugs Bunny, and he's the original. But yeah, I mean, it is wearing like Superman's cape and showing up to, a situation.
But to be fair, it is really cool because when you do show up somewhere and people are like, "Yo, this is the voice of Bugs Bunny," or "This is the voice," people go nuts. People go nuts
First
a little bit.
They're
They're
like,
like,
okay, sure, whatever, pal.
"Yeah,
You just want a discount. And I'm like, yeah.
of course."
Usually it's just Swiss LA. That I'm trying
Yeah, why do you think I took the job?
10% off. I'm the only one in Swiss LA, by the way. Me and like 8 seniors. But it's crazy how I'll tell you the most extreme situation is at the border, the U.S. border with the customs agents.
No way.
Who are usually like stone-faced, like poker-faced, like no emotion, because, they have a really tough job to screen people coming into the country, and especially one that has a document saying, I do belong here, and like prove it. And all I have to do is, like Woody Woodpecker's laugh, and they instantly have a bowl of cereal, and they're like 8 years old again.
Yeah, it's
I
awesome.
could be smuggling heroin into the
Yeah,
country.
I was just gonna say it's
And it doesn't matter. I
the
don't
ultimate
do
like
that.
get out of
but
jail free
don't.
card.
Right, I was gonna say, like, is it like a pickup line? Like, do you use it when you're talking to certain
Usually
people?
for
like,
other grown men.
This is gonna
Yeah.
work. Is that what you do? Do you get tickets like this?
At
Like,
Comic-Cons, yes. It's usually guys, sweaty men that are like, hey, man, do that again. But, whoever it is, it doesn't matter. As long as I'm bringing the laughs. That's always just been the fuel for the fire for me.
Yeah.
Ever since elementary school, it's... and I know you guys can relate. If you guys are on-camera personalities, you guys were the class clowns too. I know you.
Yeah,
and even the crew. I know you guys.
Everybody
you guys are in
was.
entertainment. You guys were the ones cracking jokes in class.
Yeah.
do you feel like you've always been on?
I mean, yes and no. I think being a Canadian, there's a certain reserve that we have. We pick and choose the moments that we, want to be in that spotlight. But the best part about animation is that I'm not really technically in the spotlight. It's more the personas, these characters that I embody. So, I could go to Whole Foods and not get attacked.
That's right. But then you go to Whole Foods and then they give you a bit of a discount once you do the voice, right?
They give me a discount because I have an Amazon Prime account.
There you go.
Jeff Bezos.
And we're wearing your shirt.
Yes.
Oh, I actually designed that one.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I love
I
it.
had to help with one of my buddies, but that was an original concept that we had. And it's RetroKid will always be a part of proof that I did grow up in Canada a little bit. It kind of has expanded from beyond Canadian content, but the original concept, at least for my contribution, was always to pay homage to your Canadian roots.
So smart.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right, are you ready?
Are we going to
get to it? We're going to get to
Do this.
So,
oh boy.
He's the voice, but we want to show off the face. Do you remember your first post ever?
We were just talking about this moments ago where it's like, oh my gosh, I don't even think we knew what kind of monster social media and especially if we're talking about Instagram or even Facebook would become. And if anything, it's kind of like a little history lesson about us.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point. We get to go back to that moment in your life and show you where you were.
Which, by the way, you can erase things in your timeline, but I've been lazy.
Yeah.
After today, you're going to go through and be like, get rid of that.
There are kids out there that 9 posts, 4 posts.
Yep.
My niece has 1 post. I have 55. That's all. Your Honor, we have Exhibit A through F over here. All of the evidence of bad cringe posts that I've ever done.
Okay.
Oh boy,
So-
here we go.
This is good.
Would May 31st, 2012 be considered ancient history? Because that's when your first Instagram
2012,
post is.
And that's
This
me.
is you.
Oh, wearing an Anchorman T-shirt that says Whammy, and
So-
I'm in a studio.
So you're in the studio. Is this your dog with you on the couch?
There was a studio called My Thai Studio. Okay, by the way, if you live in the greater Los Angeles or greater Burbank area in California, for whatever reason, there's a slew of audio facilities. Almost every audio facility is named after a drink. That was My Thai Studios.
You remember.
And I believe that was the engineer, Kevin Cleland, his dog. I don't know if there's 2 dogs in there or just 1.
Yeah.
I forgive me. I forgot the name.
Kevin's
Kevin,
going
I'm
to
sorry.
be. Kevin's going to be like, well, if
mad.
this is my one dog, and my dog.
But you remember there was 2 dogs, so
There
give
were
yourself
2.
some
We had
credit.
2.
There you go. Yeah.
But they were Australian Shepherd dogs that demanded a lot of attention, and I would always go there to record auditions because I didn't have a studio yet. There was no need to record from home then.
Yeah. You had to get out there.
2012.
So those were audition days.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would do sessions there, but if it was My Thai Studios, I was there just to read an audition.
And
So,
now
yeah,
is
I
it
was gonna
a lot of audition days now, or do people go? It's Eric. I gotta get Eric.
I hardly read for anything anymore. I'm a bit lazy. I'm kind of. I work. I'm good.
Yeah.
Let someone else do it.
So what was that big break for you then? Because if you're auditioning at this place, what was that moment that changed it all for you?
I don't know. I think you guys know as well. It's not necessarily that one. It's kind of like a back and forth dance between just gaining people's trust and them knowing that you're there and that you're hey, we could rely on this person.
Yeah.
He's good. She's good. She's great. It's kind of like they got a small pool over there, and I kind of just got in, and just by sitting there and watching people who I grew up watching on TV, I never thought in a million years that I'd actually be friends with the Animaniacs, Rob Paulson, Jess Harnell, and Tress MacNeille, Yakko, Wacko, and Dot. They. At least for me in the 90s, set the bar. And then you look at people like the late, great Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill as Batman and the Joker. I've worked with them both, and I get to sit there for hours. Maybe not now, because we pretty much record separately still, post-pandemic. But we still get to kind of interact with each other, from time to time. But before 2020, 2021, we were in booths, a fraction of the size of this room, 4 people sharing one microphone, spitting and sweating on each other, but learning. I learned so much from, even Canadian icons like Tara Strong, Cree Summer, Maurice LaMarche, all Toronto kids. But yeah, it's very, very cool place to be where you can not audition for everything.
That's amazing.
But in 2012,
Yeah.
you know, was there that moment you're in a booth, whoever it was with, and you felt like, this is it. This is going to be my career. This is going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was a moment where I was on a show that I thought was going to, this is the next Simpsons. I'll be working for 30 years. And I kind of quit my animation day job. I was an animator first. And then, of course, that show got canceled after 2 seasons. And look who came crawling back through the rehire door, which is smaller. And they make you, like on The Simpsons, they make you crawl through.
Yeah.
What show was it?
This was a show on Nickelodeon called El Tigre, The Adventures of Manny Rivera. I was doing a Ricardo Montalban impression from Fantasy Island, yes. Almost like my Puss in Boots impression. Film me if you dare. Yeah, so, I was on that show. It was very well received, got a few accolades and awards, and then, whatever reason, it was just like not picked up. I went back to animation, found out I was not happy there, even doing something creative.
Yeah.
I felt like the Taco Bell, the lettuce guy at Taco Bell, someone would hand me the taco, I'd put the lettuce in, and I'd give it to the tomato guy, and then the sour cream guy would take it. Yeah, and I thought, if I want to succeed in what I really want to do, I'm going to have to quit this safety net of a job, which is going to force me to be good. I got to pay rent. I got to buy food this week. I got to fill up my gas tank.
Yeah.
I need to book this job. So, yeah, that's what I did is I had to kind of leave. If there was any moment, it was that moment for real that kind of made me realize, yes, I am supposed to be a voiceover artist and nothing else.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's get into this.
Okay.
We got a bunch of photos for you.
You pick whatever you like.
Whichever one you want.
That was the first one, right?
That was the first one.
So now
Yeah.
what are we looking at here?
So this is a select.
This is your journey.
At random, your journey. We'll talk stories.
First of all, this looks random, but I'll be perfectly honest with you. It looks very orchestrated, this mess.
Does it?
We would never
Literally
do
just
that.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to go for this one right here.
Okay.
Ooh. Oh, no. Oh, okay. This I don't
we got
mind.
here?
This is
So
a good one.
let's show us here.
Because today, in the United States, it's American Thanksgiving, not Canadian Thanksgiving.
No.
And I actually did post this guy. He's my son. His name is Eric Bauza, and he's a little jokester. And I'm very thankful for him. Mainly because when I became a dad, I started booking more preschool shows. And
Nice.
it's weird. I couldn't book a preschool show to save my life. And then this guy shows up. And suddenly I'm on, like, if anything, that's the only thing I'm on that is original content. Most everything I do voices for is a reboot or a rehash. Because we're in this stage in entertainment right now. I'm going to put my son down. Hey, take care, bud. We're in a stage right now in the industry where it seems like almost everything that these big corporations, that I'm not even talking about, they're not even called studios anymore, corporations are only rehashing their own intellectual property. But for some odd reason, in animation specifically, preschool and adult content, like 18 and up, adult swim cartoons made for an 18 and up audience, they're the only ones that are kind of rolling the dice and taking risks on original stories and original series.
I know, even in preschool, there's like the alphabet is wrapped now, right? Like there's a rapping version of it now, and I'm like, I gotta get
whatever
into this.
the kids
I wonder if a lot of that is actually a strategy where you go, in 20 years from now, this thing that hit with young kids is going to be the thing that makes them cry and want and be nostalgic over when they're older.
Absolutely. And
so it'll keep you working, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get my raps going. But whether that was decided by the algorithm or some actual room full of humans, that's the destiny that we're currently facing. For whatever reason, when I started voiceover, that age range between 6 and 11 was so full of like original ideas. Like, Ben 10 was a good one, like just action adventure stuff. Now I look at my 8-year-old son. This is when he was much younger. My son's 8 years old now, and he's just buried on an iPad playing Roblox,
Yeah. But have you introduced him to like the old shows? Like you said about the Canadians, like Mr. Dress Up.
Absolutely.
And, you have.
There's some nostalgia buried deep within, my son genetically, I believe. he still enjoys and can recognize when he's watching a modern Looney Tunes cartoon and an original Looney Tunes cartoon. And by original, he says, "Is this?" He calls it. He says, "Is this old? Is this old cartoon from the '80s?" He thinks the extent of being old is the '80s.
No.
I go and I say, "Yes, son, that's 100%. You're right, and only go with that. Tell everyone."
Right. And then you walk off with your cane.
Yeah, and I'm mixing my Metamucil.
That's right.
To digest.
We all need Metamucil, okay? It doesn't matter how old you are.
I'm eating that yogurt that Jamie Lee Curtis used to sell. Yeah.
Is he a little you?
A little bit. I don't know. I mean, like, I think they definitely know that when we pass the border that he's my son.
Right, you don't make him do the voices too.
Yeah, does he do voices too?
He can do voices, but I think he's definitely, I know he's a Burbank baby. But he's definitely maintained the Canadian reserve and a little bit, shy. And yeah. Are we going for more?
Yeah, let's
go for another one. Yeah.
I'm going for this next
Let's get
one.
what we can.
Oops. Oh boy. Okay, so this is another spooky one from my past.
Oh boy.
That kind of foreshadowed and told the future of where I was going to be. So here's a photo of me in 1992 and a picture of me in 2001. In the same location.
Aww.
So, unfortunately, I haven't grown much.
Right? Yeah.
Either I was a rather large boy or a tiny man. You take your pick.
You reached your apex of height. You were like the tallest kid in class for a minute.
Clearly, all I'm missing is a fanny pack or a pouch or a belly bag, as they call them. But so this is Six Flags Magic Mountain. And I'm standing with Sylvester the cat, of course. Clearly, Sylvester's had some plastic surgery done over the years. I guess chasing that cat has really gave him wrinkles. But in 2021, there I am again with Sylvester at Six Flags, but this time at one of the premieres for Space Jam: A New Legacy, starring LeBron James. So I was literally standing probably in the same spot, not knowing that many years later I would be there with Sylvester again for the premiere of a movie that I did 5 voices in.
Eric, when you were a fan, like in 1992, did you even consider the idea that what you're doing now was going to be a job that you could have?
Well, I considered the fact that I would wear this stuff regardless if I was working on the show or not. So, I don't know if that's I need therapy, a cry for help, or I just wear what I wear what I love on my sleeve.
So you kind of manifest it with your garments, your clothes, right?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is go to a theme park and take a picture with your favorite cartoon character, and you will become that character. I don't know. I knew how much I loved the characters back then, but never in a million years. Who thinks that they will be Bugs Bunny?
Who does that, really? Or Daffy Duck, for that matter.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Daffy would. That's how conceited he is.
He's like, I will be Daffy one day. Me, Daffy.
Yeah, I mean, you're already Daffy, so.
When did you know that you had this art, that you were able to do this?
Probably high school.
High school.
High school. It was definitely in high school when they, in exchange of me being quiet during class, they would allow me to go to the main office in the mornings to do the morning announcements over the PA system. So they're like, shut up, and then you could do what you do tomorrow morning for the whole school. What? So I would read the morning announcements as ooh, Marge, there's a special in the cafeteria. Fries and gravy.
Oh, Homer, that's bad for your cholesterol.
Yeah, so I would do the voices for the PA system, and then I would walk back to class, and people would be like, was that just you?
Yeah.
And that would be fuel enough for me to try to do it the next day.
Well,
And that's how you hit on the girls.
Yeah.
It always comes up to the pickup lines. You're like, and then you're a sleaze, aren't you? You're just using this for your own good. No, I just want to make people laugh. And if I get a date out of it, then of course.
Well, I mean, what did your parents think about this?
That they
how
were
did you
The
approach
Exorcist. They were like holy water, and there was 2 priests in the room.
Because we're all Asian here.
the
We
demon.
know.
They're scared.
Yeah.
They're checking for like concussions. Yeah. No, they knew. I mean, I'm Filipino in descent. Yeah. Carlos, I know you can relate.
Yes.
But just any Asian ethical background where you're sitting around the table at Thanksgiving making fun of your uncle's accent or your cousin for doing something dumb, and I would always just want to make people laugh. Again, it comes back to making people laugh. So, should we do the next one?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so we got 2 down, 3 to go. I'm going for this one right here. Oh, controversy! Here we go. I'm not even going to wait for this one. This is this is a more recent still. Here we have a very familiar character by the name of Wile E. Coyote and his attorney Will Forte. This is a movie still from Coyote versus Acme, which is a movie produced by Warner Brothers that I did 10 voices in. 10 voices, and this was another one of those films that was produced during the tail end of the pandemic. Just on the eve of the writer's strike. So we had finished this movie that was in production that was originally made to be streamed, but then they saw how good it was and they gave it a shot theatrically. And then it joined this trend that was happening over at Warner Brothers that films were getting written off for tax purposes, which unfortunately, as we've all experienced, the business side is sometimes a little bit more harsh than the show side of show business. And it's hard. It's hard that when you're on the creative side and you've spent 2 to 4 years making something that means something to you, and you see it form into this story that has a beginning, middle, and end, that has been tested in the high 90% with audiences in the United States, and then suddenly it meets its demise because who knows if they were even looking at the name of the project. It could have just been the number that worked in the calculator that they have to balance the books. And that happens a lot, more probably often than we know.
There's a moment where it went viral, this one, where you say in the Daffy's voice, like, release Coyote versus, I can't do it.
Yeah.
But release like,
I hate to be political, but release Coyote versus Acme.
And then someone animated that, by the way, from Warner Brothers, and it just made it a little bit more visible. I didn't get in trouble, but, it definitely caught some people's attention, but still not enough to resurrect the project. That being said, when things do get written off, it's not like they are gone forever.
Right.
You just would have to surrender what you got back in taxes to Uncle Sam or the tax board, franchise tax board, and then you could possibly shop that idea around. But, we are still trudging forward. We have another project that is coming out, Looney Tunes related, February 28th, 2025. And it's called The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. And this will be the very first full animated Looney Tunes film without live action support. Meaning the first Space Jam had Jordan, the second one had LeBron James.
Who swept the Raptors? That man.
And then there was Looney Tunes Back in Action that had Brendan Fraser and Jenna Elfman.
For being a fan of animation going back to your entire childhood, as I am, what kind of a victory is that for you?
It's insane to know that I'm not just
voicing Daffy. I'm voicing Porky, the pig.
Yeah.
So I get to do both leading characters in this movie that is definitely. It's going to be seen by people.
Yeah.
That's sad where you're kind of like, the fact that it's going to be seen as the victory. We used to be, what happened to the overflow of content that we used to have? Now they're being very selective. And again, that's part of the business. And I'm just thankful that this one's getting seen because I know a lot of people put hard work into this movie.
You talked about how you bring joy to other people, and you've been doing that since you were in high school.
Yeah.
I'm curious to know what brings you joy.
Oh, man. Well, it is definitely hearing people laugh at the result of 4 years of hard work with these animators. The animators, I have the easy job. I just get to speak into the microphone just like this. Animators have to sit at a desk for hours and hours and months and years, you know, guiding these characters with just their hands across this giant screen. And it actually evokes emotion in people. Like, I've seen these screenings and people are like actually really invested in it. And what makes me happy, at least in regards to, aside from being a dad and you know, of one of the coolest kids, it's something else to really be a part of something as important as a movie like that. So.
Yeah. What is it like for you to watch your voice on
weird.
camera?
It's
like
weird.
You got 2 Emmys, first of all. Congratulations on that.
Sorry, I didn't bring them.
You know,
That'd be amazing if you were like, oh, these?
No,
Hey, what?
they're considered weapons. They have like these spikes.
That you bring across the board.
being able to sit back and watching and hearing your voice must be pretty spectacular.
It's kind of surreal only because working on a film, if you've had that experience versus working on TV, which the turnaround is much faster, you kind of like forget like what you were doing. I do remember though visiting Toronto and having to book a studio here, downtown Toronto, and they're like, we need you to hop in a booth wherever you are. It could be a Starbucks, as long as there's good Wi-Fi to give us that audio feedback. And I had to rent a studio here, and I recorded like a good 4 hours of that, you know, like a 4-hour session as those characters in Toronto, which I think is awesome. But yeah, in animation, you're kind of working with these horse blinders on, and you don't know what to expect. And sometimes you don't get that satisfaction of being in a room with an audience. I'm going for the last.
You know what? We got a little...
We got,
What we got?
Okay, so we do this quiz with everybody and just answer
Glad
whatever.
I picked the good one. This is controversial.
We can go through these afterwards. I know. Good one. You picked... Yeah, we're so happy. What will we find on your Explorer page?
Oh, man. Not much. I go to Costco and I go to Toronto to see my parents.
No, but like
I've been
if
to
we
London
were to go
once.
to your IG page and see what you look for, do you look at dogs mostly or do you look at like...
Probably just research. A lot of research for animation. Actually, even on the way down, I was just like,
That's fascinating.
I haven't watched like a good like, you know, I used to just watch like a short a day. That was like a Looney Tune short a day to keep the knives sharp. And I haven't done that in a while. So on my way down, knowing that I might have to do voices with you guys, I watched a Looney Tune short, and it was the one where Bugs Bunny is foiling Muggsy, the gangster. He's the guy, the short guy with the big hat, and it's the.
If my friends were in this oven, I wouldn't turn the gas on like this, would I?
And then the cop's like, you might, Rabbit, you might, you know, and then he blows them up and they want to go to jail. But like, yeah, it's that was the, clearly I'm not an athlete, although I pretend to be.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Vince
you
Carter.
could be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have to get the Vince
number
Carter
15,
one.
yeah.
But Vinsanity. But yeah, my version of going to the gym is watching about an hour of Looney Tunes
That's
a
awesome.
day.
I love that.
And because it's all out there, you can just get to it whenever you want, which is
Yeah.
great.
Pretty much, yeah.
Easy.
I'm going to ask one more from our quiz and then have another favor after this.
Sure.
Favorite person to follow on social?
Oh man, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of follow backs on my Instagram, and but you guys, I often look at you guys as you know.
No, come on, be honest. Like,
No,
who's our
Carlos.
Are you making her salads? Are you making the salads that she's doing?
You have an
still
amazing
trying.
culinary.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. But I remember freaking out the first time I saw Carlos in person at Comic-Con.
It was a great. That's a great story too.
I
It's
have
funny.
I have the photo.
Yeah.
Hopefully, magically, it'll just appear. But I remember it was for Ninja Turtles, and I got to play Master Splinter. And one of the press junkets and outlets was Entertainment Tonight Canada, formerly from where you guys were. And for many years, I was a fan from afar, being in LA. And I remember meeting Carlos, and I was so like starstruck. But also the crew, I made the crew take a picture with us, whoever was on site that day. And yeah, that's like one of my proudest. If I had a Canadian heritage moment,
We'll pitch that one.
would've-
We should actually just enact that for them. We'll make that a Canadian heritage moment because at the same time, I'm gonna gas you up too. The exact same time that day, I was like, not only is this guy from Scarborough, our mutual friend Bran was the one who told me about you at first. They went to high school together, and she was the one that was like, "This is the only guy I know who's actually doing what he said he wanted to do back when we were teenagers, and he's achieving his dream. And he's a Filipino-Canadian guy who gets to be the voice of everything that I loved growing up. So that was a weird, surreal thing for me. I think we both were like,
Yeah,
whoa,
and then we hung
yeah.
out a couple times after that,
Yeah.
right before the lockdown.
You guys
Yeah.
need a drink or something after this. Okay, so you like to follow Carlos. Got it. All right. So we
Thanks
have
for the
this
shout out,
line,
brother.
and we would love to do it in any voice you'd like.
Sure.
All right. I'm also just a girl standing in front of a boy, asking him to love her.
I'm also just a girl standing in front of a boy asking him to love her.
Yes.
What's the matter with you?
Yeah.
Do you remember what movie that was?
Is that not Jerry Maguire?
Yeah, no, it was Julia Roberts.
that's
in
Notting Hill.
Notting Hill.
Is it Notting Hill?
Yeah.
What was the one
Yeah.
from
oh
Jerry
my God.
Maguire? What
Oh,
was the-
when he is talking to Renee Zellweger,
yeah.
he's like,
I thought that was Jerry Maguire.
no.
Guys, what was it?
Stewie.
Was it
Stewie, he's like, I don't know.
Renee, she says,
To the left, everything you own in a box.
To the left,
that must be it.
that's not
what-
it. That's Beyonce.
You had me at
Yeah,
yes?
you had me
Or
at Get Lost. That
Something
was
like
Get
that.
That was
Right.
from
That's awesome.
Shallow Hell, I think.
Oh my god.
That's from when you kept trying to hit on people all the time. And they're like,
Yeah. This is why I fail at relationships. I only have my Jordan shoe collection. That's all I have.
Do you really?
I'm wearing the Michael Keaton. So these are the ones
Nice.
that Michael Keaton wore. No, they're not the exact ones, but these are the reissues of the 6s that Michael Keaton wore while filming Batman. So
Wow.
they extended the boot, the costume department extended the Jordan into the Bat boot, and they either had, I think they had the black pair, but yeah, these are comfy.
Are you having the best time of your life now?
Yeah. I am now.
currently, this moment.
But
A moment ago,
everything-
I was in Scarborough, but I am having a great time.
Life is good, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you for having you here and
Oh,
joining us.
thank
and
you for
doing
having
this.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
buddy.
going to say thank you for having us, but yeah, no, thanks for being here today.
And you know, next time you're in town, we'll go get some Swiss Chalet.
Oh my gosh.
We'll do it up.
I don't work there, but they do send me some coupons.
Oh, that's the best.
But,
right?
yeah, we're waiting for the next time you listen to an episode, you'll be in the.
thank
This
you for the
episode brought to you by Swiss Chalet.
Oh yeah, of course.
Really
of course.
appreciate it.
There's
Yeah.
more. There's more where that came from.
This is my little one here.
Well, lastly, Mr. Dressup, what did he mean to you?
Everything. You know,
Everything, yeah.
Mr. Jessup was inspired my creativity, especially in the cartooning and drawing department. There were segments where, of course, he would sit at the easel and draw. But there were also segments where he'd tell stories, and you knew it was his drawings in the story. But they would move with magnets. Like, there would be, it would be on a board, and there would be someone probably pulling, a magnet with, the character attached. And I always thought, whoa, cool, it's like animation, but not. And, but it was, at the core, very much, again, another Canadian heritage kind of thing to grow up with. So
That's awesome, Eric, dude. Again, thank you so much.
thanks, guys.
It was so great.
And we gotta end it by saying,
Yeah, that's all, folks.
Yeah.
Ah, we got it.
See, it happens. Every single time.
I could do voiceovers. Do you want to hear anything?
Okay, give me Marvin the Martian. Marvin the Martian's like a like that.
Well, there you go. You did it.
I don't know if I really did it. I don't know. Okay, you did Daffy Duck. Give me
I
Daffy Duck.
That's just spitting, though. What's up, Doc?
Oh, are you being? That's Bugs Bunny. My best. That's the only thing I can do with Bugs Bunny.
It's
That's
hard. It's not easy.
And that's why Eric is
It's
doing it,
not
because
hard.
he's a talented dude. He works really hard. He's got
I
it.
could do a British accent. I think I could. No, I can't. Hello.
A little side story about Eric. When I think we actually talked about it. You guys probably just watched it. But not long after we met, that very first interview that we did at Comic-Con, we stayed in touch. And basically anytime I went down to LA, he was like, let me know when you're down. Aww. And there was one of the times I was staying, I can't remember where, West Hollywood somewhere. He came and picked me up in this amazing orange sports car. And we drove downtown and got Korean ice cream and just hung out a couple of dudes. It was the best. Eric,
Those are the
we
best
love you, man.
stories. That's the best. Well, happy holidays, everyone. Merry
Yes.
Christmas. And thank you for being here and supporting us. It means the world to us. And this is a new project that we know it's going to continue to grow because there's so much passion behind it. And we love what we do.
Yeah, and please continue to tell us what you love about it, who you want to see on the show, what you would even you know.
Who do you
what
want on the
would
show?
change.
Let's just
are we manifesting?
Let's manifest because it's
We
Christmas,
manifesting
it's the
for the new
holidays.
year?
What's that gift to you that you would? I mean, The Rock. What's up, DJ?
Dwayne, come hang. Ooh, you know what? I would love to talk to MKBHD.
Nice.
Marcus Brownlee, you know, he's one of the biggest dudes out there, one of the biggest YouTubers.
Yeah.
And such an interesting individual. I'd love to talk to MKBHD.
And you know what else? You know what? We would love to know, click and tell, find a photo that you love and share it with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so we hope you have a very safe and happy holiday. And we'll see you actually next week for the New Year episode.
2025.
Wow. You just said it, and I felt immediately a decade older.
January 2nd is my birthday, so guys, just...
Oh, well, you'll always be older than me, so at least we have that.
You think.
That's great.
He's actually like 70. That looks like he's 18. This guy doesn't age. He made a deal with the devil.
All right, thanks so much, everybody.
I age.
We'll see you.
Sucks.